The last couple of options on the LP360 toolbar are ones that you're going to use over and over again, so it's worth spending some time explaining those here. Recall that all of the views can be filtered to use certain subsets of the LiDAR points, and there are many ways to filter, and those are explored in the properties and symbology and display that you've already seen. But how does that apply to what we're looking at on the screen? This display filters dialog or drop-down box is a quick way to apply some predetermined filters. In this case, we're looking at all the points, all classes of points. There are, as I mentioned before, two predetermined filters for looking just at the ground and just at canopy. So let's look first at ground. And this is just taking out only the points that are on class 2 and using them for the tin. Likewise, I could look at canopy, which are only the vegetation classes. You might be a bit surprised to see there's nothing here. But remember that the canopy filter is created from classes 3, 4, and 5. And if you refer back to the project metadata, you'll notice that that vegetation class or vegetation classes were not part of the processing that was done on this data, so there are no points included in those classes. That's why nothing is showing up. So let's go back to all points. Okay, and you can see what is contained in these filters or create your own filters by clicking on that little edit icon to get the stored filters dialog. And for example, I can edit the canopy filter, and I'll see that it is indeed made only of classes 3, 4, and 5. There are a lot of different elements that you can use to create filters, and there are a lot of different tabs, so they have made it such that if a particular tab contains or has things activated that are other than the defaults, then the tab will be highlighted in red. For example, let's make a new filter, and we'll just call it test. And I can select what I want, and let me just say I'm going to use only first of many returns. And notice that as soon as I've done that, I've changed the default on this tab. The tab itself turned red. And I could add multiple criteria. I could say eliminate all the points that are less than 200 feet. I could say only use points that come from a certain flight line. I can set as many things as I want to be part of this filter, and having the tabs turn red is a handy way of reminding yourself, or at least drawing your attention to the fact that those things have been customized. Okay, so I'm going to remove that now so I don't save it. Okay, but stored filters, you can create new ones, rename them, save them. They're transportable. They're saved as an XML file in your own personal profile. When you open ArcGIS, LP360 within ArcGIS, you'll see the same stored filters that you created in the standalone version. You could also transport them from machine to machine or share them with others. Okay, and the last thing we looked at here was the live view, which is the yellow funnel. This is, again, very handy. It opens a separate dialog box that, again, allows you to apply filters to the various views. It also allows you to control point size, which is probably one of the more handy elements. It also allows you to apply filters to all of the different windows. We haven't looked at the profile in 3D window or the preview window yet, but we will. So the live view is a way to easily share or apply all of these customized display options that you might find useful. So let's just take a look at point size, because that is quite convenient. So I'm going to go back to displaying by points, and I'm going to zoom into a very small area so that I can really start to see individual points. And you'll notice they're all pretty small. I can go into the points renderer and say make all the points 10, well that's a bit big, say 6 point or 4 point or back to 2 point. The best way to get familiar with the capabilities of this very powerful live view is just to get into the software and play around with it yourself. So at this point you should be able to complete the section in the Lesson 1 lab called LP 0100 Adding and Managing LiDAR Data.